So good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today and to our Santa Barbara County Press. You're our partners in this to inform the public for all the public health and safety needs and keeping our community informed. So we appreciate your coverage and being here today. Before we begin, I would like to introduce and recognize our elected officials and representatives who are here today. First, we have Senator Monique Limon. We also have County Board of Supervisors on behalf of our Chair Nelson of the 4th District, Doss Williams from the 1st District, 2nd District Supervisor Greg Hart, who is here. The 3rd District, her office is represented, and Goleta City Councilman James Carriaco. Today you will hear from County Fire Department Chief Mark Hartwig. From the National Weather Service, we have Mark Jackson. From the County Sheriff's Office, we have Commander Darrin Fotheringham, Captain Mike Logie with California Highway Patrol. Chris Sneddon with our County Public Works Department Transportation Division is here, and Kelly Hubbard, Director of the County Office of Emergency Management. Following their updates, we will open it up to questions from the media. This press conference is being interpreted in sign language, American Sign Language, by Joe Black from the Independent Living Resource Center. A video of this press conference will be available tonight on the county's YouTube channel at CSBTV 20. And with that, I invite County of Santa Barbara Fire Chief Mark Hartwig to get us started.
Thank you, Gina. It's been a busy couple of weeks here in the County of Santa Barbara. I'd like to update you here this afternoon on the present state of the fire, the Alisal fire, and then finish by talking about the fire department's preparations for the incoming storm. We're currently at 97% contained. The only open line that remains open is in the northwest portion of the fire. The most recent acreage, again after revising with better intelligence, 16,962 acres. We currently have 298 men and women assigned to the fire. We're in unified command currently with the U.S. Forest Service. We expect to stay in unified command until Sunday evening at 1900, at which time we'll hand it off to the U.S. Forest Service. As you'll hear in a bit on the incoming rain, expected rain, just wanted to fill you in on what we plan on doing to be ready for you in the community. The fire department will have its heavy equipment assigned to the area. We'll have our 4-wheel drive Type 3 engines. We'll have our hand crews engines, and we'll have our swift water rescue team available if the need arises. Before I pass it off to Mark Jackson at the National Weather Service, I just wanted to once again praise our cooperators, our local cooperators, as well as our county partners, the sheriff, OEM, the CEO's office, our board, and specifically because of the impacts to road in this instance and to Higuas, would like to call out Scott McAlpin, a county colleague at Public Works. And without anything further, I'll go ahead and pass it off to a meteorologist, Mark Jackson from the National Weather Service. Mark.
Thank you, Chief Hartwig, and good afternoon, everybody. Whoops. Wind is part of weather. So the system that we're looking at right now, it's sort of an unusual system for October in terms of how much rain we could expect. It'll be producing much more rain up in Northern California than it will down here and as it moves further south. Nonetheless, it's still a system that we have to watch very carefully. And as it looks right now, we're still out a couple of days or so, and with our computer models that we use and their capability at this point, we can estimate that the peak rainfall will be somewhere between 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. on Monday. And that the rainfall that we're expecting for that total amount of time will be about 1 to 2 inches, roughly, a little bit higher amounts as you get up into the foothills. So what we look for with the potential for any mud and debris flows is what the rainfall rate is. And what happens is with this brand new fire like this, the soils are hydrophobic, meaning that all the oils from the fire have gotten into the soil, and so it's literally afraid of water. So any water that hits that soil will come down the slope and will take any loose mud, any debris, any rocks, any burned material down the slope. And so we have to be very careful when we watch any certain heavy rain that falls with this system. And so we're looking with our partners, the United States Geological Survey, California Geologic Survey. We have the BEAR team, which is the Burned Area Emergency Response, and also the Watershed Emergency Response team that will give us reports on the condition of the watershed from this fire. And those reports, they're working frantically to get those reports by tomorrow. We'll have a better idea of how vulnerable these watersheds are. But we do know that because of where the fire was and the slope, and there's certain watersheds that are vulnerable, this is something that we'll have to watch very carefully. And so we are looking at potential impacts of mud and debris flows. At this point, based on the kind of rainfall rates that we're expecting, we're not expecting anything too serious at this point. However, given the fire is brand new, it has not had any precipitation on it at all. We will have to watch it very closely as it develops and as we get closer to Monday morning. And even tomorrow, we'll have a better picture of how things were looking. So again, the message that we have for everybody is that if there are any evacuation orders that are issued, you must heed those warnings, because what we see with even smaller debris flows, these move very fast. You can't get in your car and out driving. You can't outrun them. Okay, so the best thing to do is to not be in your residence. So that's very important, is to listen to those orders if they are given. If it happens that there are no orders or that you are caught in your residence, our guidance for protective action is to shelter in place, try to find an interior room, and if possible, an upper floor, and shelter in place. So despite any occurrence of any debris flows, though, we still have that possibility of some rainfall that can produce some flash flooding. We have roads and other infrastructures up there that could be vulnerable to being washed out. Whatever you do, don't attempt to cross any flooded roadway. Remember, turn around, don't drown. It's not worth it. And again, with this 4-hour period or so of rainfall that we're expecting, probably the best thing to do is just not to drive and just to stay inside. Again, just be aware of the situation. We're working very closely with our partners, as you can see up here, multiple agencies that we work with. We'll be in very close contact with the Office of Emergency Management and the fire agencies to give them updated information on what we're seeing with this rain event. So without any delay, I'll pass it over to Commander Fotheringham with the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's.
Thank you. I am Commander Darrin Fotheringham with the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office. And on behalf of Bill Brown and the entire Sheriff's Office team, I want to thank all of you with the media out here assisting with us to educate the public and keep the community safe. As you've already heard, and we'll hear shortly with some additional information, the teams represented up here have been working diligently to identify the hazards, to help protect our community and make the community as safe as possible and have the community as prepared as possible. This includes a rapid evaluation of the environmental changes that are occurring, both due to the fire and with the incoming weather. We've had teams up in the area today with the Sheriff's Office Search and Rescue Team, the County Fire Department, up there evaluating the residents, handing out packets of information to the residents provided by the county staff here and the Office of Emergency Management. And we've also pre-planned evacuations areas if in fact we need to go to an evacuation warning, which we'll be evaluating throughout the rest of the weekend as the weather comes in. That being said, as of 6 p.m. tonight, this evening, the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Office is issuing an evacuation warning for the Alisal burn scar area due to the incoming storm anticipated for Sunday night through Monday morning. This determination was made based on information by the National Weather Service regarding the rain totals anticipated, as well as the current conditions of the burn scar area and the potential for debris flow. The evacuation warning will begin at 6 p.m. Friday evening and is for the area west of Las Flores Canyon, east of Mariposa Reina, south of West Camino Cielo, and down to the ocean. We're continuing to monitor the weather and evaluate the conditions. The decision to issue this evacuation warning and any other potential orders for this weekend is not based on one specific event or one specific rainfall total amount or rainfall anticipated amount per hour, but it's really been determined by a totality of circumstances due to the rapid changing of events up there, with the fire having just finished burning through most of this area and is in fact still an active fire. That road up there is a perilous road under the best of conditions that is regularly impacted by the weather. And with that whole area being pretty much completely burned free, there is now a danger of loose rock and debris falling down onto the roadway without any rain event. And the amount of brush that's on the side of the roads that may help prevent vehicles from going down into the canyon has also been burned out. So that road is a potentially dangerous road under the current conditions, and any weather whatsoever makes it far more dangerous. Please remember this area is also remote and that the area is just devastated by the fire and that there is limited cell service, limited TV or cable service up there, and that power may be at peril due to the weather. In closing things out, most importantly, begin making plans for your household today and exercise them. Don't wait until you get to an emergency alert to begin figuring out how to protect yourself and your family. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Captain Lugo with the California Highway Patrol.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mike Logie, Captain with the California Highway Patrol, the Santa Barbara area. The CHP's primary mission is to save lives. The CHP fully understands and appreciates the community's interest to maintain open roadways. To achieve the shared goal, the CHP proactively works with our communities, public safety partners, and traffic stakeholders. Currently, all major routes through the Santa Barbara County are open. However, significant events such as rainstorms, debris flows, and fires may affect roadway conditions. If a roadway in the CHP jurisdiction becomes adversely affected, the CHP will work diligently with our traffic safety partners to designate alternate routes, clear obstructions, and open the roadway as quickly and as safely as possible. We will monitor roadway conditions throughout the storm and be prepared to work with Caltrans to take appropriate action and to notify the public. With the forthcoming storm, the CHP provides these following reminders. Prepare your vehicle. Ensure your vehicle is in good working condition. Check your tires, lights, and fluids. Ensure you have a full tank of gas. Check your windshield wipers to make sure they are cracked and not brittle. Replace them if necessary. Plan ahead. During inclement weather, recognize it may take longer to reach your destination and leave early to allow for delays and prevent undue stress. Third, drive safely. Regardless of the weather conditions, many crashes result from driving too fast. We would ask that you please slow down, avoid distractions, and remain alert. Your vehicle can't stop as fast or turn as accurately on wet pavement. Also, expect decreased visibility in fog or rainy conditions. If you're driving in fog or rain, keep the headlights on low beam and don't stop on the roadway, except in an emergency. Move away from emergency personnel and equipment, work crews, and disabled vehicles. If involved in a minor crash, safely move to the shoulder or exit the freeway. If you're uncomfortable or nervous about the conditions, consider exiting the freeway until safer conditions allow. Never drive through standing water. You never know how deep the water is or what lies beneath the surface. Remember, turn around, don't drown. Finally, remember to leave plenty of space between you and other vehicles to allow for increased stopping distances. In closing, I believe with a united effort, preparation, and safe driving, the CHP, along with its public safety partners and the community, stand ready to meet the transportation challenges of the forthcoming storm. With that, I'll close. Thank you. and I would like to introduce Chris Sneddon with County Public Works.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Chris Sneddon, Public Works. We started working immediately as soon as we could without getting in the firefighting efforts way. We had a team of our flood control division and transportation division out there, as well as Lash Construction, who we really appreciate them stepping up and being so responsive. With those efforts, we've cleared 1,500 feet of channel around 6 low water crossings that we have along that road. Low water crossings are where the road is crossing literally through the creek, so those are a problem even in non-fire burn areas in rain events. We also we've cleared out about 600 to 800 cubic yards of material, and those crossings are as prepared as they can get. They're very narrow channels. It's a very narrow creek up that road. It's a remote road, as was mentioned. So there's 2 things that we're concerned about, or there's at least 2 things we're concerned about. The first is that material is going to come down, whether there's rain or not. So in the higher areas, that may be rocks falling down the slope, or vegetation that's burned, or soil coming down. And then as you go in the low-lying areas, as I said, we've got those 6 summer crossings, so those will be inundated with even light to moderate flows. With that, our message is, we have 3 main messages. 1, do not drive in the rain on that road, on Refugio Road. If you're making decisions about where you're going to be, make them well before the rain and enact them so that you're not out on that road in the rain. The second is that if it is closed, if we do get substantial rain or substantial materials coming down, it could be closed for extended periods of time. As I said, even in good years, there's impediments to the traffic there, and we expect that to be worse with the burn area above. And then the third is to watch, as I said, for rocks and other material on the road, even rain or no rain. And as some of the things that were mentioned in terms of the vegetation and the burn material that's right along the side of the road there. So if you're traveling on that road, be careful. We're keeping an eye on both that road and Calle Real. There's some drainages on Calle Real we're keeping an eye on as well. And we have equipment staged and ready to go, and on-call teams through the weekend and next week. So thank you, and I'm going to introduce Kelly Hubbard with OEM.
Good afternoon, evening. Kelly Hubbard, Director, Office of Emergency Management for the County of Santa Barbara. I'm going to spend a few moments just talking about some of the terminology residents might hear over the next couple of days in this coming winter season. Evacuation warning. An evacuation warning means that there could be a threat to life or property, and to be prepared to leave. In these cases, if you have disabilities, access, or functional needs, if it might take you more time to evacuate, if you have animals, we would strongly encourage you to evacuate at the point where there is an evacuation warning issued, just because it may take you that additional time to leave the area. An evacuation order means that there is an immediate threat to life. Please, please, please follow these warnings and evacuate immediately. Shelter in place. I think several people have already commented on this, but at some point, if the roads are impassable or unsafe, or if you did not heed the orders to evacuate earlier, you may need to shelter in place. In which case, we encourage the residents to please be prepared and have resources and supplies in their homes, just in case they cannot leave. And it may be some time, as Public Works indicated, for them to be able to open those roads. In those shelter in place, we do encourage you to get indoors, find interior walls, get higher ground if possible, an upper floor if you have it. Those are the main terminology that the residents may hear associated with this storm or into this winter season. I also want to talk about how residents may get information regarding these evacuation notices or shelter in place. Ready SBC alerts. We encourage all residents to register for Ready SBC alerts. They can do that at readysbc.org. Please make sure, if you've registered previously, that you go in and update your information as well. If your email or phone number has changed, it's important that we have the most current information. We may use, more than likely, wireless emergency alerts. These are the alerts that come out on the cell towers to your cell phones. We do know that these wireless emergency alerts are not exactly accurate to the immediate area that's impacted. So some residents outside of the evacuation warning or order zones, if issued, may receive these messages. The messages will include the area that is impacted. So if any residents do receive those messages, they can listen to them, read them if they still have them on their phones, and it should have the area of impact. And so just go back to those messages, look at that area. Additionally, we will post this information on readysbc.org. We try to get that information up as quickly as possible. The information mentioned already today for the evacuation warning and the map is being posted as we speak, and so that information is available this evening. Additionally, encourage you to follow any social media accounts, official social media accounts for the county. That could include Santa Barbara County Office of Emergency Management, County of Santa Barbara, Sheriff's Department, and the Fire Department, and other public safety agencies. We have indicated that evacuation evacuation warning is being issued this evening. We are confirming shelter information for those residents who are going to proactively evacuate. That shelter information will be updated on readysbc.org as soon as it is confirmed and available. That will include both animal and human population evacuation shelters. I want to encourage all residents, not just in this area, but in our county, to make sure they are prepared for all disasters, that they have their emergency kits updated and refreshed, that those of you who may be evacuating, that you are ready to evacuate with your go kits. Again, great information on readysbc.org and other websites on what materials to have packed and ready to go if you are to evacuate. I'm going to invite Commander back up to reiterate the evacuation warning area at this time.
And again, as was stated, the evacuation warning will begin at 6 p.m. Friday this evening for the area west of Las Flores Canyon, east of Mariposa Reina, south of West Camino Cielo, and all the way down to the ocean. And that is already available up on the SBC website.
So at this time, we're going to open it up to questions from the media. And I wanted to add, in addition to the speakers that you just heard, we also have John Fry with the Santa Barbara County Flood Control District who is available to answer questions. So go ahead, whoever has a question. Tom Bolton with Newshawk.
I'm wondering if you've made an estimate of the number of residences or other structures that are likely at risk from this event.
At this time, we do not have the bear or wart reports. However, for the evacuation warning, the approximate number of residents is around, I'm doing some math based on some other stuff, around 300 residences. We can confirm that again later, but that was being worked on as we came out.
Next question. Jean Yamamura with the Santa Barbara Independent.
The 101, is there what would happen if the flood, or if there were water coming onto the 101, especially as the off-ramps to the state beaches and so forth, where are
So the question, as I understand it, is what would happen if water or debris came onto the 101 and affected off-ramps or the roadway? Simply, we would work with Caltrans and the county roads to develop a plan to either block or reroute traffic, and then to try and mitigate whatever the situation will be. It really depends on the size and the effect of whatever the debris flow or the water flow comes in. If we would have to shut down the freeway, we would make a decision based on all the information that we had, and probably similar to what the Alisal fire, where we would close it at Winchester and then at SR1 on the north side of the 101 until we can mitigate the issue and then reopen as soon as possible.
Next question. Going once. I see no further questions, so I have a few announcements, and we'll be completing our press conference for today. Again, thank you so much for being here. As a reminder, because it just came up about state beaches, before you go, check the state beach and park websites. There are some beaches that we believe are still closed until the 28th, and of course, Los Padres has closures as well. So we strongly encourage you to check those websites before you go out. We ask the community to remain vigilant, monitor weather and news reports over the weekend and before your Monday commute if this rain is predicted for Sunday, Monday. Follow official information channels, including the county's preparedness website that was mentioned at readysbc.org. You can also follow information at CSB TV 20 on YouTube, where this press conference video will be posted. There are videos about flood control, flood preparedness, and other tips there as well. Also, please follow the county's social media channels, including County of SB on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, the Office of Emergency Management, OEM, on Twitter and Facebook. County Fire Department has social media, the County Sheriff's Office, CHP and Caltrans, and of course, County Public Works for roads and flood control information. Before I say goodbye and thank you for being here, I have one more announcement. And the question came up about why our flags here at the Office of Emergency Management are flying at half staff. That is in recognition of former 5th District Supervisor Joseph Centeno, who sadly passed away a week ago. And I failed to mention our current 5th District Supervisor, Steve Lavanino. So thank you, and with that, have a happy, safe weekend, but please monitor the news. And we appreciate you again. Thank you so much.